They don't want you to know this. There exists a mental technique so powerful that it was allegedly used by some of the greatest minds in history: Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, yet it has been buried, ignored, and completely erased from modern education. Why? Because if you knew how to unlock this banned brain hack, you wouldn't just be smart, you'd be dangerously intelligent. The kind of intelligence that questions everything, sees patterns others can't think at a level that breaks reality's limits, and that's exactly what you're about to learn. This isn't just another audiobook. This is one of the most controversial, mind-altering guides ever created. We're going to break it down chapter by chapter, revealing step by step how to access this hidden power, the intelligence formula they never wanted you to have. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The lie about intelligence. They lied to you about your own brain. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at someone insanely smart, and thought, man, I wish I had a brain like that? Maybe it was a mathematical genius, a chess prodigy, or a master strategist who seems to process complex ideas like magic. And then, almost immediately, a voice in your head whispers, but I wasn't born like that. That right there is the biggest scam of modern education. They've programmed you to believe that intelligence is something you either have or don't have, that if you weren't gifted from birth, you'll always be stuck in the slow lane, struggling to keep up. The truth they don't want you to know. Listen to me carefully. Genius isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Every hyper-intelligent person you admire didn't get there through luck. They got there because they figured out a secret mental framework, one that allows them to absorb information 10x faster than an average person, process complex ideas effortlessly, break down problems and see hidden solutions, think in a way that defies normal logic. And the scary part? This forbidden brain hack has existed for centuries, but it was removed from modern education. Why schools make you mentally weak. You ever wonder why school feels like a prison for your brain? It's because it was designed that way. The education system wasn't built to create thinkers, rebels, or visionaries. It was built to create obedient workers, people who could follow rules, regurgitate facts, memorize formulas, do what they're told without questioning. That's why you were never taught real mental skills. Instead, you were fed a cookie-cutter education system that rewards obedience over intelligence and memorization over actual thinking. Geniuses don't learn this way. They never have. Einstein ignored school and trained himself to think in images. Tesla visualized entire machines in his head before building them. Da Vinci questioned everything. Even basic facts most people accepted. None of them followed conventional learning. They used a different system, a different mental operating system, one that turned their brains into high-speed knowledge processors. And guess what? You can install that same mental system in your own brain. Your brain is a supercomputer if you know how to use it. Here's the crazy part. Your brain already has the potential for genius-level intelligence right now. The problem is, no one ever gave you the instruction manual. That's what we're about to change. Because in the next chapter, I'm going to show you the exact brain hack that rewires your mind for high-speed learning, advanced thinking, and genius-level problem-solving. Are you ready? Because this is where everything changes. Chapter 2. The hidden brain hack that unlocks genius-level thinking. Your brain is capable of more than you've been told. Let's be clear. Your brain is not fixed. It's not a static machine running at the same speed forever. It's a biological supercomputer that rewires itself every second, adapting, growing, and upgrading based on how you use it. The problem? Most people never upgrade their mental operating system. They run on the default factory settings installed by society. Memorization instead of deep thinking. Following orders instead of questioning ideas. They learn the same way at 25 as they did at 15. But geniuses don't follow this pattern. Instead, they use a mental upgrade process that allows them to learn faster than normal people, see connections others miss, think in complex layers, not linear steps. And the core of this? Hypervisualization, encoding, the secret operating system of geniuses. Most people think in words, sentences, lists, facts. Geniuses think in simulations, images, movements, systems. Instead of reading about a concept, they mentally experience it as if it were happening in real time. That's why Einstein didn't write down formulas when he created the theory of relativity. He imagined himself riding a beam of light, experiencing how space and time distorted before he put a single equation on paper. That's why Tesla could design an entire machine in his head, run a mental simulation, and predict if it would work. without needing blueprints. That's why Da Vinci visualized human anatomy in layers, making breakthroughs that even doctors couldn't see. They weren't just thinking. They were living inside the idea. And if you want to train your brain to operate like this, here's how you do it. Step 1, think in movies, not sentences. When most people learn something new, they process it like a textbook. They read words. They repeat them in their mind. They try to remember them later. That's why they forget most of what they learn. But here's what geniuses do. Instead of words, they convert every concept into a mental movie. Example: if you're learning about history, don't just read it. Imagine it happening in front of you. See the people. Hear the voices, feel the environment. If you're learning a new skill, visualize yourself doing it, step by step, with hyper-realistic detail. If you're solving a problem, run a full simulation in your head, testing every possible outcome in minutes. This technique activates more of your brain, making learning faster, deeper, and more permanent. Action step: next time you read or learn something new, convert it into a mental movie. Pause, close your eyes, picture the concept happening in ultra-high definition. Replay it until it feels real. The more you do this, the sharper your thinking becomes. Step 2, erase limits, the what-if method. Most people think inside the box. They accept facts as they're told. They solve problems the way they were taught. They assume that the system is correct. Geniuses erase the mental walls and ask, what if everything I was taught is wrong? This single question breaks reality open. Einstein asked, what if time isn't constant? This led to the theory of relativity. Tesla asked, what if energy could be wireless? This led to wireless electricity. Da Vinci asked, what if humans could fly? This led to his flying machine designs. Action step: every day, pick one topic and challenge it. Ask, what if this was completely false? Ask, how could this be done 100x better? Ask, what's missing that no one is seeing? This rewires your brain to challenge reality instead of blindly accepting it. Step 3, train your brain with impossible questions. Your brain grows when it struggles. If you only ask yourself easy questions, your intelligence stays weak. Geniuses ask themselves impossible questions that force their brains to develop new ways of thinking. Examples: how would I solve this problem if I had infinite resources? How would I explain this concept to a 5-year-old? What would insert genius do in my position? When your brain can't find an immediate answer, it starts building new neural connections. That's how creativity and higher intelligence are developed. Action step: write down one impossible question every morning. Spend 5 minutes thinking about it. Don't worry about right answers. Just let your brain work. Over time, this will sharpen your problem-solving abilities beyond normal levels. Step 4, force your brain into overload mode. Here's a secret: your brain learns fastest when it's under pressure. If you only process one perspective at a time, you stay slow. But if you flood your brain with information from multiple sources, forcing it to make sense of contradictions, it levels up at an insane rate. Example: read 3 different perspectives on the same topic, back to back. Watch videos that completely disagree with each other. Force your brain to combine conflicting ideas into a new solution. This method trains your mind to process massive amounts of data instantly. Action step: pick a topic. Read 3 completely different opinions on it. Find a way to combine them into a new, original insight. This is how geniuses see patterns others miss. Why this hack was hidden from you. Now, let's answer the big question. Why isn't this taught in schools? Because if you knew how to think like this, you wouldn't need years of school, follow outdated learning systems, be mentally controlled by the system. You would think for yourself, and that's exactly what the system doesn't want. They want you to be just smart enough to function, but not so smart that you question things. But now, you have the knowledge. And in the next chapter, we're going to take this even deeper. I'm going to show you the exact daily routine to rewire your mind for genius-level thinking. The step-by-step blueprint to make these methods automatic. So get ready, because once you implement this, your brain will never be the same. After finishing this audiobook, you can go even deeper. Once you complete part 1, your journey doesn't stop here. You can go even deeper by reading or listening to part 2, the Whispers formula. But first, I want you to fully complete part 1, because everything in part 2 builds on the foundation you're learning right now. What awaits you in part 2? Advanced learning secrets. Absorb and retain knowledge like never before. Brain chemistry hacks. Master dopamine, focus, and limitless creativity. Psychological domination. Influence minds, and command respect effortlessly. The 1% mentality, think like the world's most powerful strategists. Ruthless confidence, walk into any room and own it. But first, finish part 1. Then, When you're ready to unlock the next level, read or listen to Part 2. Link in the comments. Chapter 3. The Daily Blueprint to Rewire Your Brain for Genius Thinking. Genius isn't an accident. It's a system. Most people think that genius is random. They believe that people like Einstein, Tesla, and Da Vinci just had natural gifts, that their intelligence was an accident of birth. But that's not how it works. Genius is not luck. Genius is not genetic. Genius is a process, a daily system, a way of thinking that can be trained. And today I'm going to give you a blueprint, a step-by-step method to rewire your mind for genius-level thinking. If you follow this daily, your brain will start operating on a different level. So let's get into it. Step 1. Start your day with a genius question. Your brain is most powerful in the first 30 minutes after waking up. Most people waste this time on their phone, scrolling nonsense, and consuming useless information. But geniuses activate their minds immediately by asking themselves a deep, high-level question. Action step. The moment you wake up, ask yourself a big, complex question like, what is the one idea that could change my life today? What problem have I been avoiding that I need to solve right now? If I had no limitations, what would I create? Then, let your mind think. Don't force an answer. Just let the question sit in your subconscious. Throughout the day, your brain will search for answers automatically. This is what geniuses do. They train their minds to look for solutions constantly. Step 2. Think in visual simulations. 15 minutes a day. Geniuses don't just think in words. They think in images, movies, and 3D simulations. That's why Tesla could visualize machines working in his mind before building them, and why Einstein said he didn't think in words. He thought in pictures. So here's how you train your brain to do the same. Action step. Pick any problem or idea you're working on. Close your eyes and create a mental movie about it. Imagine every detail, the movement, the colors, the process. Replay it, adjust it, test different versions in your mind. Start with just 15 minutes a day. The more you do this, the sharper your brain becomes. Soon, you'll be able to visualize entire solutions before even touching a piece of paper. Step 3. Train your brain with intelligence sprints. 20 minutes a day. Most people read passively. They skim information, hoping they'll remember something. Geniuses do it differently. They force their brain to process large amounts of data at high speed, pulling insights instantly. This is called intelligence sprints. Action step. Pick one topic you want to master. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Read 5 different perspectives on that topic, rapidly switching between them. Take one key insight from each source, then immediately explain it out loud as if teaching someone. This forces your brain to connect ideas quickly, analyze patterns, and develop advanced thinking. Do this every day, and within weeks, your processing speed will increase. Step 4. The 10x Mind Expansion Method. 5 minutes a day. Geniuses think bigger than most people. They don't just ask small, practical questions. They stretch their thinking to the extreme. Here's how you can do it. Action step. Every day ask yourself, how could I make this 10x better? If you're working on a project, ask, what would this look like if I had unlimited resources? If you're learning a new skill, ask, what's the absolute highest level I could reach in this? If you're solving a problem, ask, how would Elon Musk, Da Vinci, or Einstein solve this? This forces your brain to think beyond normal limits and develop breakthrough ideas. Step 5. Destroy mental laziness. 60 seconds a day. The biggest difference between average minds and genius minds is this. Geniuses don't allow mental weakness. They don't say, I'll do it later. They don't say, I don't feel like thinking today. They don't say, that's too hard, and you won't either. Action step. Every time your brain feels lazy, whether it's about reading, thinking, or solving a problem, do this. Say out loud, I do hard things. My brain is built for challenge. Take one small action immediately. Push past the initial resistance without negotiation. This trains your mind to override laziness and become a machine of intelligence and action. Final step. Repeat this for 30 days. If you do these 5 steps daily for just 30 days, here's what will happen. Your brain will start absorbing knowledge faster than ever before. You will see patterns and connections others don't. You will process information at a genius-level speed. You will develop a superior way of thinking that separates you from 99% of people. And most importantly, you will never see intelligence the same way again, because you'll realize that genius was never about talent. It was always about thinking differently. Chapter 4. How to make this mental upgrade permanent. Temporary intelligence versus permanent genius. Right now, your brain is changing. By applying the previous chapters, you're already thinking faster, making connections quicker, and processing ideas at a deeper level. But here's the problem. Most people who discover a powerful brain hack use it for a while, then forget it. They get excited at first, but then they fall back into old habits. And that's what we're going to prevent, because this isn't about a temporary boost. This is about creating permanent genius-level thinking, where your brain doesn't just improve for a few weeks, but stays in a higher gear for life. And today I'm going to show you how. Step 1. Turn thinking into a lifestyle, not a task. Most people treat intelligence like a school subject. They study for a few hours, then turn their brain off for the rest of the day. That's not how geniuses operate. For them, thinking is a 24/7 process. It's how they live. They don't schedule learning time and then stop. They're constantly questioning reality, analyzing systems, searching for deeper insights. Action step. Stop separating thinking from daily life. Make it your default mode. Every time you see something, ask, how does this work? Why does it exist like this? How could it be improved? Example, if you're in traffic, analyze. What's the biggest flaw in this system? How would a genius redesign it? If you watch a debate, think, what are the hidden psychological tactics they're using? If you hear an opinion, ask, is this actually true or just social conditioning? Soon you'll realize your brain is learning every second without effort. Step 2. Make high-level thinking your default setting. Here's the brutal truth. Most people think at the lowest possible level. They ask basic questions. They accept easy answers. They process information at surface level. Geniuses never do this. They train their minds to think deeply about everything, even the things that seem simple. Action step. Whenever you learn something new, force yourself to go deeper. Don't just ask, what does this mean? Ask, what are the deeper layers of this? What's the hidden pattern behind this? How does this connect to something completely different? Example, instead of just learning about a historical event, ask, what psychological forces were driving this? Instead of just reading a scientific fact, ask, how could this principle be applied in other fields? Instead of just accepting a rule, ask, who benefits from this rule and why? This is how you develop extreme intelligence. Because once your brain starts thinking like this automatically, you become a pattern recognition machine, seeing insights that others are blind to. Step 3. Rewire your brain for constant growth. Most people have fixed thinking. They believe, I'm either smart or I'm not. Some people are born geniuses, others aren't. There's a limit to how much I can improve. This is mental poison. Geniuses don't think this way. They believe, I can rewire my brain to any level of intelligence I choose. Every single day, my mind is evolving. There is no ceiling to my mental ability. And guess what? Whatever you believe, your brain makes real. Action step. Every day tell yourself, my brain is getting smarter right now. When you struggle with a problem, say, this challenge is making my intelligence stronger. When you learn something new, reinforce, I am growing more powerful with every idea I absorb. This constant reinforcement trains your brain to expect growth. And once your mind accepts growth as your reality, your intelligence will expand without limit. Step 4. Master the art of long-term thinking. The reason most people stay mentally weak is because they only think about short-term results. They read one book and expect to be a genius. They try a brain hack for a week and wonder why they're not a master. They give up when they don't see instant progress. But geniuses? They think long-term. They know that intelligence isn't built in days or weeks. It's built in years of deep, high-level thinking. Action step? Stop expecting instant results. Shift your mindset to a 5-year vision. Ask yourself, what would my intelligence look like if I trained it daily for 5 years? Set a goal. In 5 years, I will be thinking at a genius level. This rewires your brain for patience and mastery. Because once you commit to long-term mental evolution, nothing can stop you. Step 5. Protect your mind from mental pollution. Here's the final step. Guard your brain like your life depends on it. Most people let garbage into their minds all day. Useless social media scrolling, pointless gossip, low-level, shallow conversations, sensationalized negative news. All of this is mental pollution. Geniuses protect their mental space like a fortress. Action step, cut out mindless distractions. Surround yourself with high-level thinkers. Absorb only high-value knowledge. Ask before consuming anything, does this make my mind stronger or weaker? Because whatever you feed your brain, it becomes. Final warning, you are at a crossroads. Right now, you have a choice. You've seen how to rewire your brain. You've learned the blueprint for permanent genius-level thinking. But here's what happens next. Most people will listen to this and then do nothing. They'll go back to old habits. They'll keep thinking at the same level. They'll stay mentally average, but a few people, the rare ones, will take this knowledge and apply it. And those people, they will become a new kind of thinker. They will see the world differently than 99% of others. They will unlock a level of intelligence that most people will never reach. So now the question is, which person will you be? Because once you start using these methods consistently, you will never think the same way again. Chapter 5. The Dark Side of Intelligence. How to use your genius mind without self-destruction. The hidden curse of extreme intelligence. Intelligence is power, but power without control can become self-destruction. Every genius in history who reached the highest level of thinking also faced the darkest consequences. Tesla died alone, broke, and obsessed with ideas no one understood. Einstein admitted that extreme intelligence made social life painful. Nietzsche's deep thinking drove him into madness. And now you are walking the same path. Your mind is evolving. Your thoughts are moving faster than most people can keep up with. You are starting to see reality differently, but if you don't learn how to control this mental power, it can become your downfall. So in this chapter, I will show you how to balance high intelligence with mental stability, social dominance, and real-world success. Because if you master this balance, you don't just become smart, you become unstoppable. Step 1. How to avoid the lonely genius trap. The smarter you get, the harder it becomes to connect with people. Why? Because most people don't think deeply. They talk about surface-level nonsense. They accept flawed ideas without questioning them. They live in mental autopilot, never challenging their beliefs. At first, you might try to wake them up, show them how to think critically, how to see reality differently, but most will resist. And if you're not careful, this will lead you to two dangerous paths. 1. Isolation. You withdraw from people, convinced they are all too stupid to talk to. 2. Arrogance. You start looking down on others, seeing them as inferior. Both of these will destroy your ability to use your intelligence effectively, because true genius isn't just about knowledge. It's about influence. Action step. Build a high-level network. 1. Find people who challenge your thinking. Avoid those who just agree with you. Seek people who force you to debate, rethink, and expand. 2. Develop strategic communication skills. Instead of overwhelming people with your intelligence, simplify ideas and lead them to conclusions. 3. Observe people instead of judging them. Use your intelligence to understand human behavior, not to criticize it. A true genius isn't someone who is alone at the top. It's someone who can bring others up with them. Step 2. How to stop overthinking and take action. The higher your intelligence, the more your brain loves to analyze. This is a strength, but also a weakness, because while most people don't think enough, highly intelligent people think too much. They analyze problems from every angle. They get stuck in mental loops, searching for the perfect answer. They hesitate to take action because they see too many possibilities. And this is how geniuses become paralyzed. Thinking without execution is useless. A mind that is always preparing but never acting is a mind that will die with its ideas. Action. Step. Force yourself into execution mode. 1. Set a decision timer. Give yourself a strict deadline to analyze a situation, then act. 2. Use the 70% rule. If you are 70% sure of a decision, make the move. Genius is built on adaptation, not perfection. 3. Adopt the experiment mindset. See every action as a test, not a final choice. This removes fear and speeds up progress. If you train your brain to think and act at high speed, you become a force that nobody can stop. Step 3. How to stay mentally stable while seeing the truth. Here's the harsh reality. The smarter you become, the more you see that the world is full of lies, illusions, and manipulation. The media shapes what people believe. Society rewards obedience, not intelligence. The system keeps people mentally weak on purpose. And once you see this, it's easy to become bitter, frustrated, or disconnected. This is where many highly intelligent people fall into darkness, because they know the truth but don't know how to handle it. Action step. Develop controlled detachment. 1. Observe reality, but don't let it consume you. See the flaws in the system, but don't let them destroy your motivation. 2. Play the game while outsmarting it. Learn the rules of society, but bend them to your advantage. 3. Focus on building, not just criticizing. Intelligence is wasted if it's only used to point out problems instead of creating solutions. The true genius isn't just someone who sees the truth. It's someone who knows how to navigate it with power. Step 4. How to prevent mental exhaustion. Thinking deeply burns mental energy. Many brilliant minds become exhausted because their brains never shut off. They absorb too much information. They jump from idea to idea without focus. They can't relax because their mind is always racing. This leads to burnout, frustration, and creative block. Action. Step. Train your mind for endurance. 1. Practice deep work intervals. Focus intensely for 60 minutes, then take a 10-minute brain reset. 2. Use physical movement to refresh thinking, walking, exercise, or simple stretching reboots mental clarity. 3. Meditate on problems instead of forcing solutions. Instead of overthinking, let ideas come naturally by stepping back. Intelligence is like a muscle. It grows with stress and recovery. If you want to think at a high level for life, you must master mental endurance. Step 5. How to control your intelligence in the real world. In the end, intelligence is only as powerful as how you use it. If you let it consume you, you will become isolated, overthink instead of acting, lose your ability to connect with others. But if you control it, you will rise above the system, build power, influence, and success. Think at a level that few people ever reach. Final action step. 1. Use your intelligence for action, not just thought. 2. Don't let knowledge make you cold. Use it to build influence. 3. Balance deep thinking with emotional intelligence. 4. Train your brain like a weapon, but don't let it turn against you. Because once you control your intelligence, you don't just become smart, you become unstoppable. Final warning: intelligence without control is a weapon against yourself. You are now standing at a crossroads. Your mind is more powerful than ever before. But if you don't control it, it can become your own greatest enemy. The choice is simple. Will you master your intelligence, or will it master you? Because once you understand how to use your genius mind strategically, you will not only think at the highest level, you will dominate in a world that is not built for deep thinkers. How to unlock genius-level thinking without self-destruction. Your mind is now a weapon. Use it wisely. You've now seen the forbidden brain hacks that have been hidden from the public. You know that genius isn't genetic, it's a system. You understand how to rewire your brain for high-speed thinking. You've learned how to process information like a supercomputer. You now have the blueprint to make this intelligence permanent. But here's what most people don't realize. Extreme intelligence isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. Because the moment your mind starts operating at a higher level, you will face challenges that average people never experience. You will see flaws in people's logic that they can't recognize. You will realize that society is designed to keep most people mentally weak. You will start feeling disconnected from those who don't think at your level. And this is where the dark side of intelligence begins. This is why so many brilliant minds in history became isolated, misunderstood, or even self-destructive. But that doesn't have to be your fate, because now you know how to balance extreme intelligence with control, power, and real-world success. The 5 keys to controlled intelligence. If you take nothing else from this audiobook, remember these 5 rules. 1. Master emotional intelligence, EQ, IQ. Intelligence without influence is useless. Learn how to communicate strategically, not just think deeply. 2. Train your brain for action, not just thought. Genius is not about thinking endlessly. It's about thinking faster and executing at high speed. 3. Protect your mind from overthinking and cynicism. The smarter you are, the easier it is to become trapped in negative mental loops. Stay focused on solutions, not just problems. 4. Rewire your brain for endurance and mental stability. Intelligence burns energy. If you don't train your mind for long-term endurance, it will collapse under its own weight. 5. Use your intelligence to build, not destroy. The highest level thinkers don't just see the flaws in the system, they create their own. Intelligence without action is wasted potential. What comes next? Part 2. I will upload a part 2 of this audiobook named with the Whispers Formula. If you've made it this far, you already think differently than 99% of people. But this is just the beginning. In part 2, I'm going to reveal the advanced methods that take intelligence from genius level to world dominating. Here's what we'll cover: the forbidden learning techniques that schools never taught you, how to manipulate your own brain chemistry for extreme focus and creativity, the psychological warfare techniques that make you mentally unstoppable, how to program yourself for ruthless confidence and dominance. This is next-level thinking, designed for those who want to move beyond knowledge and into power. If you're ready to take this to the highest level, part 2 is waiting for you, because once you unlock the next layer of this system, you won't just be smarter than most people, you will be untouchable.